Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to What the Papers Say with me, Deek Jackson, on Thursday, September the 24th, 2020. And now I've missed a couple of days because of shit that happens. Shit happens, doesn't it? They say that all the time. Shit happens. Yeah, well, it doesn't so much as, shit doesn't just happen. It's part of a process. Now, with the human body, we're all familiar with the process that leads to shit. But in life, it would appear that shit does just happen mysteriously. Like the rights of certain people disappearing mysteriously. Shit sure does happen. So I missed the opportunity to comment on the UK's new lockdown rules. And the only way I can sum them up is stupidity is highly contagious and it's dangerous to your health. And it would appear to have infected millions and millions of people in this country who are so stupid they're going to accept the shit that's happening. The shit that's happening includes the following stupid shit. I can't visit my mum, but we could both go to a pub with 100 people in it for hours and get pissed. Then we could go home to our separate homes, but we couldn't visit each other. Other stupid pish. The army is potentially to be used to help enforce these new laws, which are laws. And if you don't think that's stupid enough, ask yourself, how smart are people who join the army? Really, how smart do you have to be to end up in the army? They're not even conscripting people in Britain. You have to want to join. You have to fill in the form and sign it yourself. They're going to let these people enforce laws? People who can barely hold the dangerous end of a gun. Woohoo! I can't wait. Other stupid things that are now the law. Let's see where to start. The rule of 6. Oh yes, wearing a mask. Wearing a mask. Now it's the law that you have to wear a mask in shops, as far as I understand it, unless you're exempt. And the only... all you have to do to get out of wearing a mask is say you're exempt. I mean, I look forward to all laws being so easy to avoid, you know? What are you doing there? I'm nicking this car. That's not allowed. I'm exempt, innit? If either you have to wear a mask or you don't. Either wearing a mask is a good idea and would give us genuine protection against some deadly disease, or it doesn't. The background to this stupidity, which is infecting people, is a rise in cases. Cases, I repeat, cases, not deaths. Hospital admissions are up as well. But they're not up in so far as anyone needs 10 new hospitals that we built to deal with the tsunami of cases that the coronavirus would produce, which it didn't ever, not even on its worst day. Yeah, Craft Cake Sam, I tip my hat to you. Imagine that. I'm not sure if I have that deadly disease. Speaking of testing, perhaps we should test for stupidity. Because there should be a home test kit. Am I stupid? Actually, don't bother making that a form you fill out on the internet, because if you're stupid, you're probably too stupid to fill out a form on the internet. So let's just send everyone in Britain a form which says, you are stupid, sign here, because you have put up with this pish from your rulers. Anyway, I digress. On with the papers. What do the papers say? Well, what the papers ought to say, there should be a big headline that says, you are totally fucking stupid. You are completely nuts, bonkers, and insane for swallowing this shit. You really are. This disease is just not dangerous enough to require you, as the headline here puts it. Sunak puts billions into new COVID rescue plan. What that should really say is, the government puts you more billions into debt. That's right. They already put you trillions into debt to deal with the alleged dangers of a virus which would struggle to kill my elderly gran, who is already dead. But now, more billions of debt for you. More crushing of the economy, more erosion of your civil liberties. civil liberties which will never come back. Now that you've swallowed this pish, you can forget any future you thought you had where you could protest against anything en masse. In fact, one of the concerns of the government is that people should be prevented from gathering in large groups to protest. That's one of their stated concerns. Prevented from gathering in large groups to protest. Does just what it says on the tin. So, Sunak puts you billions more into debt. There's also a little fluff piece here, a kind of, not a fluff piece, a magazine piece, a sort of, entertainment. It says, how to stay sane for the next 6 months. Whereas in fact what it ought to say is, you are insane for swallowing another 6 months restriction on your liberty. There's also a lovely front page picture here, because the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex, formerly Prince Hammy, I'm going to stick with Prince Hammy, and Meghan Markle, they moved to America, where they are now urging people to vote in the American election. Isn't that what an election is? I mean, how stupid must they think the people of America are to tell them it's an election, you should vote. So here's a picture of them, right? And I have some advice for Prince Hammy, all right? No, I don't have any advice for him. I have an observation to make about his new life in America. A prediction, if you will. He will leave her the moment she stops sucking his dick. Honestly, she better be really good at sucking dick for him to give up fucking his life of royal pageant luxury and, the adulation of royalty or royal supporters. The moment she stops sucking his dick, he will be back in Windsor Castle wearing some gold braid and making some mealy-mouthed apology to the British people about how we all make mistakes in life. Honestly, she stopped sucking my cock. It was awful. Here we have a piece. Human rights groups voice fears over license to kill for British intelligence. Spies. James Bond, if you like. Dang, da, dang, 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 dang. The premise of James Bond is that he is a 007 licensed to kill, which was a fictional artifice or, a vehicle for the films, people thought. But it turned out in 2018, the government admitted that spies, members of British intelligence, were allowed, all of them, not just 007, like he's some special suited guy with the pen that shoots poison, all of them, were allowed under a secret direction from prime ministers, which was not publicly acknowledged till 2018, to commit crime, to engage in offences when they are necessary in the public interest, such as, infiltrating political parties, infiltrating protest groups like the Rhodes protesters or Extinction Rebellion, stuff like that, to commit crime like assassinating people, killing the scientist who did that report about the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That sort of thing. I'm not saying that exact thing, but, killing people and that sort of thing. Officially, legally, just in case. In the public interest, of course. Your Majesty. Here's another lovely picture. It's a picture of Britain's newest aircraft carrier, which has, it's borrowed some American planes. We don't actually own those planes yet. We borrowed them from America for a propaganda shot to make the British people think that the billions and billions and billions of pounds this aircraft carrier cost was worth the money. And what these planes are going to do is they're going to fly over Britain, shooting coronaviruses down with a new nano missile that seeks out coronaviruses that are spreading in aerosols in the air and blows them up with a special missile they bought from Halliburton in the US. That's what we're going to do with the aircraft carrier. Because you need an aircraft carrier these days. How are you going to bomb niggers if you don't have an aircraft carrier? I mean... A double-page spread on the coronavirus vaccine. Now, the coronavirus vaccine is coming soon. Coming soon to a population near you, wherever you might be, one way or another. There's a vaccine coming. And, along with many other new government ruses to control you and subject you to tyranny. But this headline says, 1 in 5 don't want the jab amid fears of side effects. Right? And it says, more than 1 in 5 Britons do not want to accept a jab amid widespread misinformation about side effects and profiteering, a study has found. Oh no, not misinformation. Oh, surely the British people aren't misinformed. We can't have that. How could they possibly have become misinformed about the jolly good, wonderful intentions of giant pharmaceutical companies? I don't know. They must have gone on the internet or something. So the majority of people have said they are likely to get the COVID-19 vaccine once it is available. But a worrying amount of respondents don't believe vaccines work, or they worry about potential side effects. Right. Well, there's the piece. Okay. It's right next to another piece that says development of the vaccine in Britain has been halted because of dangerous symptoms of transverse myelitis in people receiving it. That sounds like a side effect to me. That sounds like an adverse effect to me. Isn't it bizarre that two contradictory pieces of journalism can appear side by side? One saying that people are misinformed about the dangers of the side effects of vaccines, and another one saying that the very vaccine Britain depends upon has had its research halted because of dangerous side effects. I wouldn't mind having the vaccine if its list of side effects included penis enlargement, intelligence increase, I don't know, confidence boost, cocaine-like levels of exuberance and ecstasy. Oh yeah, man, imagine reading that. Side effects may include swollen spinal cord, sudden death, liver failure, penis enlargement, ecstasy, exuberance, cocaine-like levels of enjoyment and fun. You know, there's some side effects you could possibly balance out. I'm just saying, a little balance, you know. I could just add a few in there, just to balance. And for women, it could be, I don't know, bigger tits and smaller bottoms. Something like that. Something to sell it to the people, you know. Try and make it a little more appealing. Other than the swollen brain thing. The swollen brain thing's not selling it to me. Funnily enough, Belgium eases restrictions on their population. Good morning, 01 stool. Belgium has eased its coronavirus measures after curfews, mandatory face masks, rule of 5, rule of 5 and social bubbles failed to halt infections. A story which is repeated in countries around the world. Arnold Lay, no, I didn't steal the newspaper, but I did give my name as Nicholas Sturgeon and the telephone number of the Scottish government when asked for my track and trace. It's hard to steal shit these days, isn't it? I mean, you know, I'm just saying, just as a casual observation, it's quite hard to steal things. Before they did track and trace, shh, don't tell anyone, I used to steal my newspapers, right? What you do is you go into a supermarket, you pick up a newspaper and you walk through the self-checkout. You just walk through and you go straight to the cafe and you sit down and you have a cup of coffee and you read the newspaper and you leave it there and you never leave the shop with it. So you never paid for it and you never stole it. It's a kind of a grey area. It's like, I don't know, like reading the ingredients on the stuff in supermarkets as if you were reading a book. It's like a free read, isn't it? So yeah, the easing of restrictions in Belgium as cases are still going up no matter what the Belgian government did. Rule of 5, mandatory masks, cases still went up. It's almost like this is an infectious disease. Oh, goodness me. They're just going to let people make their own minds up. Quarantine period has been reduced. Masks still have to be worn on public transport. It's unnecessary to make them compulsory, said the government. Cases are going up, deaths are not. Look at some graphs, all right? Look at some graphs. This is a typical coronavirus graph, right? It started badly and then it got not bad, and now it remains not bad. Look at global deaths. Global deaths have been under 5,000 on average for about 4 months. This is not an epidemic where the dead are piling up in the streets or you'll have to breed with your sister. The restrictions on your liberty and the removal of your freedoms to associate are just that. Now, moving on to climate change. In Britain, in order to meet our net zero commitments under various international treaties, it has been proposed that we use hydrogen as a gas to warm people's homes and for them to cook with in their homes, in the domestic gas main, and also for hydrogen to be used as a, combustion gas to drive internal combustion vehicles such as big lorries to keep freight moving. Okay, all right so far? Great, because hydrogen, when you burn hydrogen, it produces nothing but water vapor. It, literally produces hydrogen and oxygen as its, material, products of combustion, water vapor. So Boris Johnson has signed up big style, big, large. He's gone large in it on the hydrogen, and he has decided that hydrogen should be pumped into the gas main in increasing quantities until we get to about 30%, where we're all going to have to change our boilers to burn hydrogen. Fantastic. Yes, if you leave your fridge open, it does stop global warming. In Narnia and La La Land, that's where that would happen. Although, if you climb into your fridge and shut the door, all problems of global warming will disappear in about 3 minutes. So, there's a couple of solutions there. So the problem with this green energy, hydrogen, is shh, don't tell anyone, but it comes from natural gas. In fact, the way we get hydrogen and the way the fossil fuel companies are planning to get hydrogen is to take natural gas and to strip it of carbon straight into the atmosphere, which is just like burning it. It's exactly the same. And with the methane that's left, they can produce hydrogen cheaply without going through the expensive process of electrolyzation. Just Google that. When you electrolyze water, you use an electric current to dissociate the hydrogen and the oxygen atoms from each other. But in the methane distillation process, you take natural gas, strip out the methane, which is a major constituent part of it, and then you separate the hydrogen off from the methane, which is much cheaper. Now, this technology is cheap, but it produces just as much carbon, and the fossil fuel companies are misleading the people of Britain and the Prime Minister. No, would they do that? Not fossil fuel companies, not the most lucrative business on the planet, lying to people and their governments. I can't believe it. Arrest after £100 million of cocaine is found in fruit. Puts a new slant on your 5 a day, doesn't it? I nearly slipped into white van man there. It's your 5 a day, that, innit? Got some 5 a day. Yeah. 2 men have been arrested on suspicion of importing fruit. Because we're not really big on the fruit in this country. Chunky thighs and wide hips linked to long life expectancy. A study investigated risk estimates for 3 measures of central fat. High thigh and hip circumference were inversely associated with mortality risk. Inversely meaning you will live longer if you have a big bum and thunder thighs. Now, I wonder if that's because men like big butts. I wonder if it's just gay fashion designers who like women who look like boys. I've often wondered that. When you look at a fashion parade and you think, how come all these models look like stick insects? Where's the meat? Where's the womanhood? Where's the very essence of femininity, which is the lumpy bits? You know, men, they're all like, you know, stick insects, skinny, straight up and down, no lumpy bits, except their balls. Yeah, chunky thighs and wide hips, long life. Good. I hope that makes its way to a poster. I hope we see a big poster and pop videos, more pop videos with big, fat-arsed, chunky-thighed women. Grayson Perry, a renowned artist, my lord. Grayson Perry, a renowned artist in Great Britain, is travelling America, doing a television show where he talks to both Democrats and Republicans, and he is claiming that right-wingers are more open-minded than those on the left. In essence, he's saying that intolerant liberals in America are narrow-minded, intolerant, and somewhat given to prejudice against people who don't share their views, whereas right-wingers are more open-minded and more likely to accept that you can think whatever you like as well. And it's not that I hate to agree with Grayson Perry, it's just that I think most people are twats. I think that it's a false dichotomy. I think that people on the right and on the left, I think they're both twats. I think if you buy into that, oh, there's a left and right way of looking at the world, then you're probably a twat. Grayson Perry is the guy who makes pottery and wears dresses. Dr. Super Genius, good morning. And so, like I say, I don't really mind if you're right-wing or left-wing, or if you're liberal or conservative, as long as you're not stupid. I find stupidity to be the defining factor in whether or not I tolerate you. And I think there'll be more on that later. Yeah, he is like a crap Eddie Izzard. I think Eddie Izzard, although he's had his moments, Eddie Izzard, you know, he has been funny, but then he also supported, or he did not support Scottish independence, and he came to Scotland to tell the people of Scotland how they should feel about their independence. Bad move, innit? The Tories are turning into a big state party, says Ian Martin. Well, I agree. Hey, has anybody noticed how much like Jeremy Corbyn Boris Johnson is? Eh? Anybody? I mean, you couldn't... If Jeremy Corbyn had done this shit without coronavirus, he'd be a Marxist communist traitor to his country. But no, Boris Johnson, in the last 6 months, has racked up trillions of debt for the people of Britain, paying people not to go to work or subsidising industries like he was a giant communist state. He has brought in intrusive totalitarian laws regulating our behaviour, just like a totalitarian communist state. And to cap it all, he's nationalised the railways. I liked his dress sense. Jeremy Corbyn. I would have had more respect for Jeremy Corbyn if, when they said, why weren't you singing the national anthem? He said, because it's jingoistic, patriotic pish. And people who are into that sort of thing are fucking morons. Now fuck off and ask me an intelligent question, you twat. If I were Prime Minister, that's the kind of interviews I would be given. Why aren't you wearing a tie? Because I refuse to conform to your social etiquette just so that I can look like all the other wankers. Now fuck off and ask me an intelligent question. EU toughens borders and pledges to send back more migrants. Now, because of climate change, which is going to make large parts of the world uninhabitable, perhaps in your lifetime, billions of people are going to be affected, and they're going to want to live somewhere else. Now, the people who know that are high-ranking government and civil service and movers and shakers in the world of geopolitics. And they don't want them coming in to their party, to Disneyland, La La Land, Narnia, wherever it is they live. So we do want them to die where they are. That is the official policy of Arnold. Thanks for the pint, man. I shall spend that today on takeaways. Yeah, the EU toughens borders as it pledges to send back more migrants to an uninhabitable hellhole where they will die on our 4K televisions. Navalny poisoned himself with Novichok, Putin suggests, and the people of Chechnya bombed themselves with Sukhoi fighter bombers and and other things people did to themselves. The Russian people switched off connections to the internet outside of Russia. Yeah, Putin, he's not a lying cunt. Elon Musk. I like to see Elon Musk in the news. Elon Musk. Investors knocked 28 billion off the value of Tesla yesterday after Elon Musk's Battery Day press conference turned out to be a damp squib. People thought Elon Musk was going to announce a battery with a 1,000,000-mile range so that we could all get in our cars and go Hawaiian for drive-through burgers and Starbucks. But he didn't. Instead, he announced that we still don't have a cheap car for the masses, and that it may be years away because of the cost of batteries, which are not environmentally sound at all. And he's the man who would know. Instead, he announced that Tesla is to take over control of the whole supply chain of Tesla batteries. They're going to buy the lithium out of the ground and mine it and refine it and supply it to themselves to cut costs. So all you brown people out there, Elon's about to become your employer. Because if everyone in the world wanted a battery-powered car, we'd need another 2 planets of lithium. So plainly, either Elon is deluding himself and lying to his investors, ooh, Securities and Exchange Commission, ow, or everybody took the fucking stupid pill this morning. Anybody who thinks you're going to solar power and battery car your way out of the climate problem is a fucking moron. And that is about it. There's nothing left in this paper but spurt. And so, yeah, what the papers say, you are stupid and you deserve the tyranny that is being foisted upon you. There's a lot of Scottish news in this paper, which I didn't bother with, because later on, I may do a Scottish white van man, of which there are many, just for a change. And so the headlines today, you are too stupid to add 2 + 2. And as a commenter earlier said, imagine a disease so deadly and dangerous that we had to test you to find out if you'd had it or have it. Imagine that. And also, I'd just like to leave you with a front page picture and remind you that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are total cunts. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. I know I'm gonna. See you later.